Thanks for being here, everybody. Look, a couple things. First, what we're seeing here, what we're witnessing with the Biden family, frankly, is just a web of concealment, of deception. A lot of people would say corruption. But let's be very clear. You have this many companies involved in this velocity of transactions, size of transactions. Like my colleagues have said, this is not how normal businesses operate. I had the ability with Chairman Comer and other members of the committee to go over to the Treasury building and review documents. And having read those documents, one thing became pretty crystal clear, that there were many people who had serious questions about the transactions and about the velocity of these transactions, and they either get very, very deep into concealment, hiding money, shifting money, and for the purpose, we don't know, because one thing everybody in this room and the American people definitely know is that the Biden family doesn't really have a business. There is no business structure around this family except politics. And since Joe Biden has spent decades in the Senate, served 8 years as vice president, and is now president of the United States, and the family's getting money from various countries and foreign businesses through various shell companies and this web of LLCs. I mean, guys, you in the press, this is easy pickings. I'm giving you Pulitzer stuff here. Like, all you have to do is literally look at our memo and see the level of detail upon which they have created this. And it's very, very frustrating. We have now been able to clearly see
sound like Chester.
The Biden's associates, like Rob Walker, Eric Sherman, has been discussed, created at least 16 companies
fake
while
LLCs.
Joe Biden was vice president of the United States. 16
sound like
companies
Will Morgan
created while he was vice president. Now the list is 20, and as we continue our investigation, that list is growing.
I told y'all they be creating these fake accounts, putting money in these accounts that don't exist. So when the money pop up missing, there it is. It's corruption, y'all. A web of corruption all across the board, y'all. And it's a fact. And with this administration in power in Chester, it's nothing but corruption. A web of lies and corruption that's been taking place, y'all. Let's go.
It's growing. And like I said before, the question is, to serve what purpose? And the purpose of all these companies being created is to conceal money that the Biden family has been gaining because Joe Biden has been sitting at the upper echelon of our politics for almost 5 decades. That is the entire purpose here.
Who that sound like?
Here's an example of what I mean. You have Rosemont Seneca Partners, Rosemont Seneca Advisors, Rosemont Seneca Technology Partners, RSP Holdings, RSTP2 Alpha, RSTP2 Bravo, Rosemont Seneca Thornton, Rosemont Seneca Bohai. I want to make sure I pronounce it right. Bohai, B-O-H-A-I. And the list goes on and on. Cycling through this many companies serves no legitimate purpose. And as somebody who actually worked in banking, I did that long before
like that calf shop we just rode over town. It serves no purpose for the residents of Chester. Why would they even put that there? Let's go. Web of corruption throughout all politics. But it's time for the motherfucking veil to be revealed. Pulled back to see who the fuck it is. Like on Scooby-Doo. But we know who it is. They doing it right in our face.
Before I came here, whenever there was like this many companies just laying all over the place, and you see wire transfers and cashier checks over here going to random members of the family for no apparent purpose at the size and velocity at which all of this was being conducted, the only logical conclusion of a financial professional is you are concealing money. Let me restate this. You are concealing money from either the IRS or from credit agencies or from other people in general. That's the only reason you set up a structure like this. Some of these companies were connected to Hunter's personal professional company, Oswego, or Skinny Atlas, Scale Atlas, however you want to pronounce it. And the list goes on. And Mr. Biggs, he talked about Hudson West 3 and some of those other issues that were going on as well. One thing I want to make sure is that all of this has happened and Joe Biden is aware. Nobody in this room can logically sit here and say that the president of the United States had no idea that these companies were being formed while he was vice president of the United States. And I will add you, he was probably in better mental shape then than he is today. I'll throw that out there. And so what this committee is going to continue to do is pursue this investigation. We are going to continue to document, and we're going to provide that information to all of you in the press.
See, and that's what we need in Chester. We need a committee formed to find out what happened with that money, y'all. Someone need to audit all those fucking forms over at Chester Building. I know the receiver, he's doing his job, but we need a team. It should be a team with that receiver going through every last documents over there, saying which what, because it's a lot of corruption, y'all. Corruption. With politics come corruption. Let's go.
Press. So to help you, and frankly, like Congresswoman May said, and probably help the DOJ along with their investigation. One quick note: it's interesting that the Department of Justice has been investigating Hunter Biden for quite some time, and we seem to just never really get anywhere. And so I think that's also interesting as well. I wonder what's going on at the Department of Justice. But that being said, the bottom line is there is no real business here. None.
Facts.
And let me also say this, because I know there are many in this room who...
Most definitely ain't no real businesses in Chester. I don't consider that calf place a business. They ain't nothing but a lounge for a bunch of niggas that hang out and watch these young girls in the summertime walk by. Let's go.
Wanted to go down all the various schemes that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle accused the former president of. Be very clear. The former president actually had a business, very big business. You could say it was his name. You could say it was his buildings. You could say it was wine. You could say it was branding. You could say it was The Apprentice. But he had a very big and legitimate business, which everybody in this room clearly knows and understands and can point to and say, that's the thing, that thing over there. Joe Biden has...
That's a fact, because everybody was at his casino watching fights at the Trump Mahal. There was a lot of people going to them fights over there when Trump had them fights, holding them fights at the Trump Mahal. From Muhammad Ali to the Don Kings to the Mike Tyson, name it. Let's go. A legitimate business.
Has no business except his position in politics. Mm-hmm. And it is the requirement of this committee to investigate that. We're going to continue to do that, and we're going to let the facts speak for themselves. Thank you, Mr.
The key word in that phrase is the word suspicious. There are 170 of those reports, many of them put together by the Treasury Department of our government in the Obama-Biden administration. So 170 of those that the committee has reviewed, thousands of pages of bank records the committee has reviewed, and that has told us that there are now multiple, as Mr. Donald just said, multiple LLCs receiving money from foreign entities and paying that money out to multiple members of the Biden family. And the fundamental question is the one Byron just raised. For what? What did they do? What was the business? What service did they provide? What value did they add? What did they do to warrant receipt of the money? That is the fundamental question, and no one seems to have an answer to that fundamental question. But Mr. Comer, Chairman Comer, and the team, that's what we're looking into, trying to get. And I would just say this, too. Why not just come clean? Why not just be honest with us? Why not tell us the truth? But I would tell you this. I think it's a pattern with this administration. They haven't been square with us, straight with the American people about anything. They tell us the border is secure. We know it isn't. They tell us our debt ceiling bill is going to hurt veterans. No, it doesn't. Joe Biden said during the campaign that the letter from 51 former intel officials, when he used it in the debate, he portrayed it as if it was organic. And we now know through another investigation that we're all working on that, in fact, it was coordinated. That letter from 51 former intel officials was coordinated with the Biden campaign. So much so, the Biden campaign told Mike Morrell, here's the journalist we want you to have the story to, the letter to first. Why not just be straight with us? Why not come clean? Why not tell us the truth? Tell the American people the truth. They deserve that from their government.
Facts.
Again, the fundamental question is, what did they do to warrant the receipt of millions and millions of dollars? Why did Joe Biden's brother? Why did Joe Biden's sister-in-law? Why did Joe Biden's son? Why did so many family members get the money? What did they do to warrant receipt of that money? That's the fundamental question. Chairman Comer and the team have done great.
There's always two sides of the stories, ladies and gentlemen. See, over here on City of Chester News TV, we going to give y'all the gritty side of these politricks that y'all don't know of because the news, fake news, don't want y'all to know this. But subscribe to City of Chester News TV, and I'm going to keep y'all updated on what's going on in the real world and all these web of corruption politicians that's out there. City, town, states, everywhere. It's all about corruption with the Dixiecrats. Let's go.
Great work, and they're determined to get answers to those fundamental questions.